right. She is an adventure photographer and photo anthropologist, a travel writer, and a global artisan multipreneur. She owns a beautiful day wedding photography and also a fine art website and a travel blog called Wanderlust. She also makes these fabulous Andiana hats made by all the women in the villages in Peru. She is the hardest working multipreneur I know, and this doesn't even begin to scratch the surface. She is the Indiana Jones of adventure travel photography. It's Laura Grier.
Thank you. What an awesome intro.
Do you just love this song?
I do.
It's
I do.
you.
I forgot about that one.
You are the girl on film.
Oh my God. I mean, it's crazy when you list all the things like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes me excited to like get back out there, you know?
No, isn't it amazing? I found that when I do all these introductions, it's almost like a reminder of how fabulous you are, because people forget. We just get on with our lives, we carry on working, and I didn't even scratch the surface of what you've done. You are incredible, Laura.
Charlie,
no, it's true. You are the hardest working woman I know. I think, oh, I work hard, but honestly, you just make me look like feel like I'm sitting on a couch doing nothing. Because tell me, how did this get started? Because how did you become? No, you as Miss Laura Grier. We'll come back to these lovely hats. But you as an entrepreneur, how did you? Was this something from a child? Your upbringing? Tell us about your parents as well.
Oh man, my parents are an interesting story because both of them are former CIA. So I actually grew up unknowing in a CIA family. So we were traveling a lot. I didn't know what they did for a living. I thought they, worked for the State Department or something. And so we just from a really young age, my sisters and I have 3 sisters. We're always in other countries. We grew up in Indonesia, and
they could never tell you, right? They could never tell you.
Yeah, and it was amazing upbringing, but I think we didn't have a normal upbringing. My mom was always trying to figure out what would be the best, career path for me. Out of all my sisters, I'm definitely sort of the black sheep artist one. It never could sit still can't sit still, and never wanted to be in an office job. And I knew that from an early age. But yeah, I always wanted to be like Jacques Cousteau or Indiana Jones. Because I thought they were just the coolest jobs. Like I thought being an archaeologist was like Indiana Jones. So yeah, that was what I wanted to do my whole life. And then when I realized there was so much tedious lab work involved, it wasn't all the glamour of travel. I was really disheartened because that was what I'd wanted to do. And then my mom was the one who actually suggested, why not be the photographer that photographs the scientists or the people that you're wanting to do. And that was like where the whole idea for photography began.
Wow. And so you have managed to take your photography and all your travels and turn them into this amazing business. So you basically document everywhere you go, and you work for the National Geographic as well, yes?
Yeah. So I've been, they're one of the many different awesome travel companies that I've worked with in the past. And Nat Geo, their artisan catalog that I've been working with for years, has that was like a lucky accident. I was playing Monday night soccer in Santa Monica for about 15 years. And I didn't realize that somebody on my soccer team was actually the CEO of their artisan catalog. And so I kind of got a lucky break one day when I was posting imagery from a destination wedding and travel imagery on my Facebook page. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you did anything other than weddings. I thought you were just a wedding photographer. And so he asked me if I would fill in for one of their photographers in Peru. And that was about 12 years ago. And I was like, yes, I'll go next week, like whenever you need me. And then that was my big break. And I started working for them, shooting at like 9 different regions for them around the world for the last 12 years. And then they're the ones that introduced me to all these amazing artisans around the world.
So that's what you do. You photograph these vanishing acts, right? Is that what you call them? Practicing vanishing acts?
Arts, yeah. So basically what Nat Geo does is really cool is they represent artisans around the world that are doing art, cultural traditions that are going to die with them if they don't pass them along to their children or teach them. And so basically, what we work with artisans that do all the weavings that have been the same weavings that are passed down from the Inca times, and they're really, really special. And they work with ancient flute makers in Bali, or they work with like the long neck tribe in Burma that does a specific weaving or dyeing of fabric, or, they work with thousands of artisans around the world. And so they're giving them a global marketplace to sell their goods. And by doing that, they're allowing them to make an income, continuing these traditions. And so then their children want to take up after them. They want to also follow in their footsteps and make these goods. And so it's really keeping these cultural traditions alive. So
That's amazing.
My like passion, because, to be honest, like Nat Geo is probably the least paying client of all of my, like they don't have a big budget. You would think they do.
Yeah.
But they really don't. And so they've always really operated with a pretty bare minimum budget. So for me, when I've been going around the world, a lot of it has been full passion for what they're doing.
And so is that how you met the lovely ladies of the village in Peru? Is it in the Machu Picchu area?
Sort of. So Machu Picchu is in what they call the Sacred Valley, and the Sacred Valley is a very large area, and they have hundreds of Quechua villages around there. And the Quechua people are the ancient, or the descendants of the Inca people, and so they actually still speak Quechua, which is an ancient language, and their language isn't written, it's woven. So like the band you're wearing, this one, Love. I was actually wearing Love earlier, and I switched it to Resilience because this is our newest band. That's a new one.
Yeah, I was looking today on your website.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's just such an appropriate band. I should be wearing a Resilience during this time. So this is Kukali. But their language is woven, it's not written. And so even by just having them not just continue the weavings, it's like continuing their language and keeping it alive. Yeah. So that was one of the main things that we wanted to do with our hats. And then you can like mix and match and choose your own intention. Like you did, you're wearing Love, that's your intention, mine's Resilience. And we have like 9 or 10 different intention bands that you can mix and match.
So you have, I wrote down this: vitality, love, connect, balance, abundance, protection, power, happiness, purpose, and resilience. Right? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. And what I love about this is, so the Quechua people, they're so connected to Pachamama, or Mother Nature, and it's one of the things that made me really fall in love with their culture. As I was hiking through in Peru, every village has a different style hat. You can tell if a woman is married or single or engaged or important or whatever she is by the hat she's wearing. And I just was always like stopping and photographing all the different hats. Some of them are crazy looking. They're like flying saucer hats, or like one looks like a lampshade, and then, some are Western like this. Others are very Spanish. Some are top hats. They're all different. And so as I was photographing, I was learning a lot about the history of hats and realizing just how important they are, not just to their culture, but to people around the world. And what I love about working on the bands with the women is that we work with a lot of different women from different villages that all kind of work together as a co-op. They use nature to describe a word, like a purpose. Like our purpose band looks almost like a Charlie Brown zigzag, and it's actually a river. And so what's so cool about the river is that we were trying to describe to them using a Quechua translator, like how do we illustrate the word purpose? They don't have that word in their language. Mm-hmm. And so they described it by a river, because they said a river always has a start point and a destination it's always going to get to, but sometimes it changes course and goes out of its way, but it's always going to end up flowing where it's supposed to go. And so they used the river as our word purpose. That was really, really special. That's one of my favorite bands.
Wow. And they all have these chakra. Mine, I need to glue it back on. But these.
Oh, no, I have to fix that one for you. Yeah. So the Shekinah stone. Yeah, I know. We're actually like offering them. We're fixing the backing on it. And we're offering that as like a little side brooch on the website. So they're actually now a separate accessory on the website, because we have them all hand cut. Wait, hold it out again, because I don't even have one with me.
There we go.
Okay, so that's the Shekinah stone. It's an aragonite stone, and you can only find that stone in the Sacred Valley. And it is, the energetic property of that stone is to ground you into the earth's energy. So the idea is for you to like take the energy of the Sacred Valley, bring it in your hat, bring it into your everyday life, bring the intentions and really set intentions, and just kind of ground yourself by wearing the hat. So that was the whole purpose of doing that, and working with the amazing women and all of that.
So you've got your intention band, you've got your chakra, and it also is clarity and connect, energy, boosts self-confidence, relieves stress and fatigue, strength and support, and grounds you. It has all these amazing, powerful qualities.
Yeah, if you just held that in your hand or had it on you, yeah, it is. It's literally the energy of that stone is grounding you, is keeping you calm, is and everything you just said is like connecting you. So we really chose that stone, and the shape of that stone is really important too. We have it hand carved. So that's the Chicana, which is the Inca cross, and they it's kind of a cool story. They kind of were like F you to the Spaniards that came and conquered them in the 1600s, and they were forcing them to switch over to Catholicism, and they believed in all their gods like Mother Earth and the mountain god, you know, all this stuff. And so they created a cross that encompassed all of their gods into it. So that cross, the circle in the middle is the sun god. The three-step pyramid is the past, present, future, or like the serpent in the underworld, the puma in the present world, and then the condor in the heavens. And then the mountain god or Pachamama, Mother Earth. And so all of those things are like mixed into one symbol, but they, you know, the Spaniards thought that they were praying to a cross.
Wow.
So that was sort of like their way of you know, of surviving.
I love that. And all the women in the village now, because these are so popular, isn't it? I remember a while ago we were talking that they're making money now so that the husbands stay at home and take care of the kids, and they don't have to work because the women are working and making these injection bands. It's completely helps the villagers out of poverty. I mean,
absolutely. So we pay them first. This isn't like, oh, proceeds of each hat goes to these women. We actually have started a business with them. They set their price of fair trade and everything. We pay them the price for the weavings and for the hats, and then it's our responsibility to get the hats to the U.S. and to sell them and all that stuff. So you know, I think per hat they're probably making, I don't know exactly how it's spread out, but it's probably like $13 of each hat is going directly to the women, and that's a lot of money for them. Like I think some of their husbands were guides at Machu Picchu, and they were maybe making, you know, $20, $30 a month, right? So these women, and one of the biggest things too of them selling all of their weavings, like a lot of them weave these at their houses, but then they hike 8 hours round trip just to go sell it at a marketplace. So that's 8 hours that they're not home, or they can't cook or take care of the kids or whatever. So now we go to them. We actually work with a nonprofit that like hikes up to them, places the orders, collects it from them, brings it and ships it to us and everything, because it's not like they have internet access or anything. So they don't ever have to leave their house. They can, and they're making money, and we're like helping them with health care projects and all kinds of things. We're also like teaching them how to be entrepreneurs. Like we're doing workshops with them and stuff, so they can start their own businesses, you know, like they're not just working with us. They're working with they're even working with Lauren Conrad, the Little Market. The same women are working with them. So they're working with multiple companies.
That's phenomenal. Look at the difference that you're making in their lives. That's incredible. And when all this happened here, you know, the lockdown and everything, you were actually in Peru on a women's retreat. What happened?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, the only hats that we have right now are because we literally like smuggled back like 5 or 6 hats in the chaos of leaving the country. So we do have hats, and that's the good news. The rest of the hats we sort of stuck down in Peru until they reopened the borders. But we had decided, and this is another part of our business that we want to like, yet another business, Charlie, that we want to do is
another one.
Andy,
like, how many? 10 you have now?
I know, because there's not enough going on with everything. We wanted to lead tours, and we just thought it was really cool. I couldn't think of a clothing company that you could click on their website and buy like a pair of shoes or something, but then you could also click and buy a trip to go meet the people that make your shoes. Right. And I just thought that would be such a cool idea with our hat company, that people can, on the site, also click and buy a trip to go meet the women and see where they come from and like know where the origin of your products come from. And so we did our very first one, and we launched it on International Women's Day in March, and it was like a huge success. It was a crazy adventure trip. We were in the Amazon jungle in Peru. We were in the Sacred Valley. We did all these amazing things, and because we were so off the grid, we didn't know all the chaos that was going on in the outside world, because Peru had like no cases of coronavirus when we first got there. Like in 8-9 days later, it was full insanity. The president announced that they're shutting the borders, and we had 24 hours to get out of the country. And I was like, this isn't good. So luckily, we literally just finished the retreat. We were like on our last day of the retreat, and then I had to hustle and get on a